Hello YouTube, this is the Radiogeek. I'm back here with my Heathkit model GR-1009, GR-1009 AM radio kit that I had built some 20-25 years ago, and last video I was saying that I was sad that it didn't work anymore and suspected some capacitors. So what I did was I went ahead and changed these capacitors out. There was 4 here, these 47 microfarad caps, and then over here there was 3 1 microfarad caps, and changed them out, and that actually didn't fix the problem. And I also mentioned in the last video about the capacitors that were in there were brand name ICC, and I found out that was Illinois Capacitor Company, and it's a reputable company, been around in business for a long time, since the 30s I believe. Made lots of capacitors, or they called them condensers back then, for the early radio market. So coincidentally enough, or whatever, the ones that I put in here, these 47s, 47 microfarad caps, are Illinois capacitors. They say IC on them, and I guess the older ones, they had another C on there for company. It was, the old one said ICC, and these ones say IC. And these 1 microfarad caps down here are Nichicons, good brand name cap. But like I say, that didn't fix the problem. It didn't hurt to change them. They're old, you know, over 25-year-old caps, so good to change them anyway. But what I discovered, and just kind of a tip, is when you're troubleshooting something like that, you just kind of take your finger and just kind of move things and tap on things. And when I touch this capacitor right here, C7, the radio came to life. So I thought, well, what's going on? So I looked at it, and looking at the underneath of it where the circuit board is, it was hard to tell, because directly on the other side of that is the tuning wheel, and it was kind of covering up the solder joints here. But what had happened was one end of it, I believe the end of the cap that goes to ground, solder joint had broken and cracked or whatever, and it wasn't making contact any longer. And when I touched it, it would push down on it and make contact, and the radio came back to life. So I had to resolder that, and then it was playing again. Now, I don't think this camera is very good as far as picking up anything that's too close a distance. It comes out blurry, I know, but the cap here in the schematic goes to the oscillator can, so it couples that to ground. So without that in the circuit, that's the reason we weren't getting anything out of the radio. Like I say, this camera probably isn't picking this up, but I thought I'd show it to you anyway. I did obviously find the manual for it, so that was kind of handy to be able to look at the schematic and see what that cap did and where it was in the circuit. So with the new caps in there, the C7 soldered again, it's ready to go. So I thought I'd plug it in here and give it a band scan and see what we can pick up here.
Guidance suggested. Start September 12th. News Radio Wood 1300 and 1069 FM.
This is a critical message for listeners who need health or personal.
Rehab right. One station under God.
It's a little touchy.
Gemstone colors in a candy shop. With so many to choose from, you can pick more than one. What ring?
Also, there's some thunderstorms here in the area right now too.
I did not see it, but I will check it out based on your recommendation. I will tell you this, 99% of the people who should... where there have been arrests in some places because of acts of civil disobedience. According to the Labor Department, fewer than 2.5 million people collected jobless benefits last week. That's the fewest since 2007, since just before the recession hit. The Justice Department said to announce plans for a civil rights investigation into the police department.
So not too bad. It probably would pick up a little better if the weather conditions were a little nicer outside. And I haven't gone through the section here about adjusting things for tuning for maximum signal and whatnot, but I don't think it's that far off. I mean, I'm able to pick up some it's the middle of the day here, and I can pick up some Chicago stations. So I'm over here in Michigan, so it's not too bad, not doing too bad. The dial seems to be pretty sensitive. I don't recall if it was always like that or not, but anyway, it's good to hear it play again, and was able to get some capacitors replaced, and a bad cold solder joint or a cracked solder joint or whatever took care of it. So I'm happy about that. So anyway, just thought I'd give you guys the update on the Heathkit here, and we'll catch you next time.